Hey clan, welcome back to the Portal Podcast, and I'm your host Edmond Orenge. So before I continue, I'll want to ask if you're doing well. So if you're not doing well, please try and find a safe space so that you can try and think what's bothering you, how you can help yourself, or how you can find someone to help you bring back uh, the joy in you. Okay, so today I have good news because last week the Portal Podcast started YouTube. So on YouTube, uh, we are the Portal Podcast TV. So if you're on YouTube, you can just subscribe on the Portal Podcast TV and enjoy the content there. So there, it will be me and in video form now. Okay, so you can enjoy the content will be the same here and there, but sometimes I'll be coming with video form and try and explain things to you or teach you some things that enables us to roll our life. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this journey with me because it's an interesting one, and I'm so happy to be here with you and practice and joyride with you. Okay, yeah. So today's topic is about the power of guilt and learning from past mistakes to improve our relationships. Okay, so guilt is it's a powerful emotion, but it also serves an important purpose in our lives. So when we act in a way that disappoints or hurts others, we feel guilty about it. Okay, that can motivate us to improve ourselves and change our future behavior. Okay, so guilt is an emotion that can play a large role in many relationships because often it arises when we behave in a way that violates the expectations of others. Okay, so after we realize that we may have disappointed someone or hurt them, we regret our actions and seek to repair the damage. Okay, so I can say that while this emotion can often be uncomfortable, a recent study argues that guilt is an involuntary adaptation designed to improve our relationship. Okay? Yeah, so I can also say that it drives us to apologize after we have done something wrong and seek to amend for our mistakes. Okay, so I can also say that guilt is a part of our inherently cooperative nature because, as socially dependent beings, we have often aimed to please others and work in harmony. Okay, so I can tell you to maybe try your best to identify the causes that triggers your guilt and ask yourself, what is causing me to feel this way? Okay, so when you try to determine if your guilt is rational or irrational, just try and find the balance. Okay, if you can, if you can't fix the situation, forgive yourself. We are all suspiciable. Sorry, suspiciable to make mistakes under certain conditions. Okay, because no one is perfect. Okay, no one is perfect. Just try putting your best foot forward. Okay, yeah. So if your guilt is irrational, try to think of the situation in a different way. There are a lot of factors that are outside of our control, yet we feel guilty about them anyway. So not everything is your fault. Try and know the balance. Okay, yeah. So you should know when someone is just trying to guilt trip you or just to manipulate your behavior or get something out of you. Okay, your values will not always align with other people's. uh, so it's unrealistic to try to please everyone in all situations. Don't feel guilty about it, okay? Yeah, so that's the main goal of this. Don't try and feel guilty about the situations people put you, okay? So when we fail to do this, it leads us to emotional repercussions like guilt, which then motivates us to make future changes in our personal behavior, so that we don't make the same mistakes and experiences uh, guilt make us to do, okay? So I did a research and found out that jail inmates who experience more guilt and regret were also less likely to repeat criminal behavior in the future. This is because uh, how guilt can motivate us to make positive changes in the future. Okay? Yeah, so of course, because of guilt's power to influence people's behavior, it can also be used as a tool for social manipulation. Okay? So I can say that many people may try guilt tripping others to behave a certain way, and if the person doesn't conform, the social manipulator will reprimand that person or ostracize them. Okay? It's important when dealing with guilt to keep a few things in mind. Okay? Beware of feelings of guilt when they arise, because you can try to suppress them or ignore them. Okay? So don't try to suppress them and ignore. Okay? Yeah, so I can say just try your best to identify the causes and what triggers you to feel guilty. Okay, just ask yourself what's causing this, and yeah, those type of questions. Okay, so another thing is try and determine if your guilt is rational or irrational. Okay, if your guilt is rational, try to find something that you can do to help fix the situation. Even just a simple or a genuine apology can really help you. Okay, yeah, so if you can fix the situation, forgive yourself. Okay, we are all humans and we make mistakes, so try and forgive yourself. Okay, so no matter the situation, guilt can be a terrible burden to bear. So if not dealt with, it can bring you down, and you might even avoid others in an attempt to hide your guilt or act irrationally because of how you feel. But you see, in another case, guilt can also be a very useful emotion to you. At its most constructive, or according to research, it reminds you that you can do better in the future. Experiencing it also shows that you have the moral and ethical standards and empathy. Okay, so sometimes though, we feel guilt unreasonably for things that just aren't our fault. This can be damaging if left also unchecked. So using guilt as an influence tool can be very helpful, but must be used with caution. Guilt can be used to influence people to do both good and bad, positive and negative. As with any tool, it is important that it is used appropriately and responsibly. Okay, so guilt is also useful in preventing conflict in the first place. We all have a moral code or an idea of what we think is right and wrong. Whenever we consider doing something in contrast with this moral code, our guilt will often kick in and prevent us from doing so before we even act. Okay, so guilt directly contributes to good relationships by promoting behaviors that benefit relationships. So we treat people in accordance with our moral codes because we don't want to feel guilty. Okay, so however, in order for guilt to play role model in conflict resolution and prevention, an individual must view certain acts as important. In other words, in order for guilt to prevent conflict, including behavior, people must view their behavior as wrong and as significant. Let's say, for example, a person who drives 65 miles per hour in 50 miles per hour zone, while only feel guilty about it if they view speeding as an important action. The same is true of ethic conflict or marital relations. In order to prevent ethic cleansing, people must view that action as important to avoid. Otherwise, guilt will be an important factor. Okay? So, sorry. What individuals can do, both guilt and shame are important social factors. As such, both are intrinsically tied to social situations. So, our ideas about guilt and shame, let's say what's right and wrong, come from social situations like education, family, work, and etc. Okay, so as a result, it is important that parents, educators, friends, family work to make sure that those around them have a sense of self-worth. Okay, I can say particularly children or youths. Okay, so by showing people empathy and caring, we indicate that doing something wrong does not necessarily uh, reflect on the person as a whole. By differentiating between the action and the actor, we can help prevent shame and its negative connotations, while this encouraging a healthy sense of right, wrong, and guilt when necessary. Okay, so just check on your guilt and yeah, try and see the power of guilt. Learn from your past mistakes and you'll improve for your future. Okay, yeah, so it works in relationships, both love and these mutual friendships. Okay, so that's the end of our episode today, and I hope you've learned something small that will help you navigate through your guilt. Okay, yeah, so thank you for listening, and remember to subscribe to the Portal TV. Yeah, so thank you so much, and let's wait for the next episode.